How's everyone doing here? Well, we got the Talon up on the hoist again. So at the race, we did some damage. Yep. If you can see, this bar she's got a pretty good bend in it. And the bumper is pushed all the way up. I smoked a stump, bent that. And so I don't think we bent these tangs back. I gotta put a square on them and stuff. But the tire is actually sitting, because the A-arm rolled back, the tire is sitting a 1/2 inch back. And you guys knew that the radius arm in the back was bent and tweaked. So we went with L&W Fab arms, which are just badass. And also L&W front lower, which are 120 wall DOM. And they retain the factory ball joints. However, they supply a urethane type bushing. Anyhow, so like I was saying, these are made super beefy. I think the factory ones are made out of 80 thousandths wall, just mild steel. These are made out of 120 thousandths thick wall DOM. And they got a couple more gussets in there. And when I get one off there, I'll make a video of that. But pretty beefy. Hopefully they fit well. They're supposed to give you additional clearance because of the way they're built, and I'll compare them to the old ones. So on the L&W Fab, you'll see there's a little rubber O-ring on the one side. You want to make sure that's to the outside. It's a seal. They don't come with instructions, so just so you know, there's a little rubber seal that keeps the dirt and water out of that joint. It's a really good design on their part, and it's a tight fit. Got one side done. Oh, excuse me, the weather's changing out here. And so all these bolts are 17 millimeter, and I think this is a 19 on there on the bottom. So that's all you need. Really simple install. A little trick to getting the factory joint out of there without damaging it or anything like that. You got a little cotter pin here. Take that out. Back the nut off just so you can see maybe a 1/4 inch of gap there. Then take a dead blow or a brass hammer and whack all 4 or 5 times around this where the ball joint seats in. And then take the socket, put it on there, take another dead blow, or I took a little 2-pound sludge, whack it 4 or 5 times, it'll pop right out of there. Real simple. So again, back that off, get about a 1/4 inch of gap. Hit this to loosen up because it's a tapered fit on there. Get that to loosen up. I guess I can show you the tapered fit over here because we're doing it. Anyway, so yeah, you want that to loosen up a little bit. And then when you whack it a couple times, it pops right loose, and then just hand unthread. Real simple. The first arm went on real easy. As you can see, there is a substantial amount of clearance compared to stock. I should have took a video with the other one on there, but the stock one is a straight line. If you think about that, it's a complete straight line down to here. So that's a lot of clearance. Plenty of room for the drive shaft. Nice pieces here. I did not get them powder coated, so don't think that that's their powder coating chipping off. I ordered them raw so they could get them here so I could get them installed this weekend. And this winter when I tear this thing down again, we're going to probably powder coat both upper and lower, maybe a little different color. So we're gonna finish this up. Very straightforward. Well, that's the bent piece. But yeah, well they know that that's just straight. It's just a straight deal. The back rear arms are about as simple as can be. Although having a second set of hands makes it really nice because they got these little alignment bushings that you got to kind of move around while you're trying to put the bolt in. But again, you can see. Excuse me. You can see that if you were to connect these Well, you back out here. These two bolts together, it's a straight line, and now you just got an unbelievable amount of clearance there. Obviously, this is, you know, a little bit down, but it's almost level with the skid plate. So good design on their part, you know, and that's fully, you got to think too, I've got this thing on my hoist, so that's fully as much suspension travel as you're going to get. So really, when that comes up, it's going to be above the skid plate, which is pretty awesome. And over here, it looks really good as far as your link here, radius arm, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, really neat. And we did a little weight comparison here. So the stock lower, I had to add, somebody was holding this while doing it. So the front arms, the 120 watt DOM, is about 3.5 pounds heavier per side. So 7 pounds you're adding in the front with just the lower arms. They make an upper arm kit, so you know, it's kind of a lot of weight, but and that's kind of some of the reason why I didn't go with the upper arms. I didn't want to add so much weight to it. So, and even the billet aluminum ones, the lowers are almost 2.5 pounds heavier. So that's 5. And then we got the uppers are about a pound, a little over a pound. So 6, almost 7 pounds we added in the rear. And so total, what was that? 7 pounds in the rear and 3.5, 7 pounds in the front. So 14 pounds I added to the machine by doing that. But it's worth it for a beefy, because they're just very, very, very beefy pieces. I almost bought the Super ATV stuff because I like the idea. The Super ATV makes the plus 1.5, where it moves, actually shifts the front A-arms, move everything forward 1.5 inches. So you gain 1.5 inches clearance back here. And I almost went that way, but they're basically stock thickness, and I just think I'd bend them, you know. I was hoping maybe the L&W would come out with something like that, and I'd buy them. And but they haven't made a part like that. Seems like they would on the X models, because that'd be awesome to shift it. Basically, you'd be moving it forward like the R's, because the R models are forward too. And that helps with the 32-inch tires. If you run 32s on stock wheels or whatever, or not a big offset, you would move it forward, and then you wouldn't have to worry about this at full stuff. But so that's what we got going on. We're plugging along, some upgrades. A couple guys asked how much money it was. I don't know. I think it was close to $700 for the lower arms and the billet radius rods replacements back there. And I will say this, they claim they have a lifetime warranty on them. So that's pretty good. I could probably see these tangs bending way before these arms. You know, just because of the thickness, and so somebody eventually is probably going to make some aftermarket or some gussets for these, like where you just slide it on over top, and maybe you weld it to here and you weld it over there, and it makes it way thicker. So I don't know though. We'll see. I didn't bend mine. Everything lined right up. So I thought I had maybe tweaked one of them from when I bent the arm, but everything went right in. So happy about that. Ready to see the finished product and take it out for a rip. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to finish her up and take her out for a rip.